Hey, what's up? What's going on? It's your girl, Mary Jane. Please like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It'll be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart, my peeps, my peoples. So let's talk ballers. Season 3, Episode 8, Make Believers. So we start off with Spencer, Joe, and Mr. Anderson and Wayne and a Dallas Cowboys owner basically talking about the Raiders deal, trying to see if they can get, the Raiders to Vegas and, get land, get a hotel, get things going and everything like that. So everyone's talking about how good this deal is, how they want to be involved. But then when it comes down to it, nobody wants to put money up, especially Wayne. Wayne doesn't want to put money up. Mr. Anderson doesn't want to put money up. And the Dallas Cowboy owner don't want to put money up. And basically, Wayne goes after Mr. Anderson and say, what have you done to be a part of this deal? Did you talk to any of the Raiders? Did you talk to the coach from the Raiders? What have you done? And so Mr. Anderson was like, you know what? Forget it. He was like, the dinner is on the house because I play golf with the owner. So peace, deuces. And so also Wayne, he gets up, he leaves with Chloe, which is the woman that Spencer is dating or having sex with or whatever. And so as they're leaving, Joe and Spencer, they ask Wayne, so how much money are you going to put up? You're going to put any up money you're going to put up or whatever? And Wayne was like, I'm thinking about a big, large, fat number and it's a 0. He goes, I'm not putting up any money because why should I put up money when we can use other people's money? So basically Wayne is letting them know how he stays rich by not spending his own money on adventures or anything that he has to put money in, but he'll put his name to the project. And so Spencer and Joe's like, what are you talking about? You're not going to put any money. I thought you was upset because, Mr. Anderson didn't put anything in. Or he was like, yeah, but, the problem is, why should I put my money up? And then Chloe, she goes, his name is good enough. So take it or leave it. So Spencer and Joe, they're like back to square one, trying to, find out how they're going to get this deal done and why is everybody playing games with them. And so Spencer ends up going to, Chloe's house, I believe, or they're staying in a hotel. And he's messing around with Chloe. He's trying to have sex with her, but he cannot get hard because he's stressed out. And plus, he's having some difficulties with his male organs. And so, he was telling, Chloe that, oh, he's dehydrated. He had too much salt with the steak. And Chloe was like, I know you're not talking about my vagina because, Spencer was just, going down on her. And so he goes to the bathroom and he goes, I got to pee. She goes, I just thought you was dehydrated. He was like, oh. And so, Spencer gets in the mirror and he's trying to give himself a pep talk. You can do it. You can do it, Spencer. You're a beautiful mother sucker. You can do it. You can get hard. You can make love to this beautiful woman. But he's not able to. So he comes back out and he's talking to Chloe. He's trying to get in the midst of, making out with her, getting it on with her, but he can't. And so basically he deflects the conversations and talk about, what happened with this deal tonight? Why did it go so wrong? And Chloe just says that, the last big deals that I was working on with Wayne, he didn't spend any money. He's a very cheap individual. And so, Spencer's like, damn, man, I can't believe this. And so then Spencer's kind of questioned Chloe, like, why is Wayne taking you all the way around the place? Why does he need you? He has enough cojones, enough balls for himself. Why does he need you? And she was like, because, I'm blowing him, I'm doing this. And then Spencer kind of feels bad because he was alluding that only reason why Wayne has her around is for sex, which right now is not the case so far in the show. And so, Spence kind of like apologized a little bit and she was like, yo, stop deflecting your problems onto me, onto our situation, onto me and Wayne. She was like, and so then, The Rock was like, I said The Rock. Spencer was like, I don't see why a man would not want to be with you, not want to make love to you. She goes, I don't understand why either because, Spence is not able to get up or get hard with Chloe. So anyways, Spence gets a phone call. It's Ricky. He runs down to the jail to bail out Ricky. And he bails out Ricky because Ricky got arrested due to the last episode where Ricky walked into the wrong house, punched the teenager in the face, and it was like breaking an entry and then assault. But the family didn't press charges. So Spencer's like, so what's going on? What's happening? Like, and so Ricky is just like, I got a lot on my mind. I haven't got signed. My teammates are freezing on me. They're freezing me out, not practicing with me. My baby mama Amber, she won't let me see the child. She's not around, and she's like, I haven't been signed and all this other stuff. And so then Ricky is kind of like asking Spencer, like, so who's your loyalty lie to? Really aligned to, because it's just like you're so focused on this Raider deal and bringing a football team to Vegas, the Raiders to Vegas, and it's just like it seems like you are so preoccupied. And Ricky also says yo, the Raiders finally got good. They finally got a defensive team in like years, and you're trying to move them. Like, where are your priorities at? And why are you causing like this big commotion? You should be focusing on other stuff, like getting me a contract and whatever. And so Spencer's like, my mind's always on my clients, the team, or whatever. He was like, but just let me do this. And Ricky was like, all right, so you can don't sweat that loan that you owe me or whatever, because Spence also bring up, you lost $2 million in Vegas. And so Ricky was like, yeah, it's your fault. So they're having a conversation, and it seems like now they're actually agreeing on everything, and it seems good. So we'll see what happens with that situation, because Ricky is having a lapse of memory loss, and he's like forgetting things, and things are not familiar to him anymore. So that may affect his career of him getting signed. So we'll see what goes on with Ricky. And it's surprising that Ricky's father doesn't say anything about the situation, because he's a former NFL player. So we'll see what happens with that. And so Joe, he brings Vernon and Reggie to meet this guy, virtual reality guy, and basically like these games, virtual reality games that you put on your head, and it's like real life or whatever. I played one of them games before. They're absolutely awesome. And so so basically Joe is trying to get Vernon and Reggie to invest in the virtual reality game and things like that, so they can get out of the cannabis business, because the league and the Dallas Cowboy owner doesn't want Vernon and Reggie to invest in cannabis, weed, marijuana, or any type of drugs, which is not really a drug, because Vernon's taking it to heal his pain, so he doesn't have to take painkillers and all them chemical drugs that actually help heal the pain, but actually destroys parts of your body and your brain. So the league is not trying to hear that. So Vernon and Spencer and the guy that does the virtual reality game or whatever, they all agree now they're going to invest in it. And so now Joe can take a deep breath. He can rest, because Vernon and Reggie are going to invest their endorsement money into the virtual reality game. So we'll see how that goes. And so then we get to Julia. Julia is Charles' wife. So she ends up calling, calls Larry to invite him over for dinner to have some of her brisket or whatever, because she's trying to help her husband out with his situation at work, because Charles can't get this player signed, Khalil or whatever his name is, can't get him signed, because Berg and Larry are going back and forth. They're shitting on each other, because Bird is mad because he stole this player and he fired his friend. So they both got, beef among each other due to politics and things like that. And so basically Charles just wants to get this player signed, because he can actually help them win a championship or go far. But these two guys are butting heads, Bird and Larry, the coach. And so we'll see what happens with that. And so then, Julia, she invites, Larry over. And so Charles, he goes to see Berg at the gym. Berg almost hit him. He's trying to convince Berg to come to his house to have dinner and everything. So he finally gets him to come over to have dinner. And it's not a good thing, because they should have warned Larry that Berg is gonna be there. So Berg shows up, and Larry's already there. The brisket's there, and so Julia was like, let's say grace. They say grace, and then they didn't say amen or amen. And Larry keeps getting on Berg. How come you didn't say amen or amen? Because you're disrespecting our host. Julius goes, oh, it's no big deal. I only go to church on holidays. And so so Berg is like, amen, amen. And so Larry was like, well, you didn't say amen before you stuck it in your mouth and say it properly or whatever. And so Berg sticks up the middle fingers like F you, and then they go back and forth. And so then, Berg, he gets up, he's leaving, and then he goes after, Larry, and he hits him in the neck, then throws his face on the table and put his face all inside food and all that other stuff, smushing. And Larry didn't do nothing. It's like Larry kind of deserved it. And Larry also, Berg also sticks up for Charles and say, hey, Larry, you stole you stole the credit for Charles getting that new player to us. Now you're upset with me because I got the player, but you didn't give Charles the recognition for what he did to get the player. So it's like, it seems like Larry takes credit when credit is not due for him to take credit, but he can because he's the boss man. And so it goes back and forth like that. And so Berg is upset because, Larry fired his friend and gave his office to Charles. So anyways, as, Berg has, Larry's face in the food and holding him down, Charles gets in, he tried to break it up or whatever. So he's escorting Berg out the door, and, Larry is punching towards, Berg, but he's not actually hitting Berg. He's actually hitting Charles because Charles is huge. He can't get his arms around Charles' shoulders. So that was absolutely funny. Like that dinner turned violent. They started to fight and everything. It was just so funny. They fought over the brisket, even though they loved the brisket. But Charles tried to, and so it wasn't a good idea. And now Larry's gonna hold this against Charles forever. And let's see what other things that Larry's gonna do towards Charles, since Charles kind of like set him up to get his ass whooped. And so then after that we get to what's his name, Spencer's talking to Mr. Anderson, and they're talking about like the deal. And basically Mr. Anderson is like, I'm tired of this big whole circle jerk thing with this Raiders team going to Vegas. Seems like they're all playing games, and I don't take Wayne serious because Wayne hasn't invested any money. He haven't gave no land, no property, no nothing, no hotels. The only thing he's talking about, what food, what kind of shit is that? So basically Mr. Anderson, Charles, and Joe cannot stand Wayne because Wayne is a pretentious, egotistical maniac. And he only cares about himself. And so, Spencer is trying to see what can he do to get this deal going. So he's going to go back to talk to Bird. He's going to go back to talk to Wayne and see what he can do. But then he ends up talking to, Joe. Joe's in the next room, banging his head on the desk because one of the players is calling him saying, hey, listen, I want to take my money out of Apple and invest in this. And then, Joe's like, no, it's not a good idea. He was like, hey, if you don't do what I tell you, I'm going to cut your penis off and stick it up your anus. It's like, oh, he was like, all right, okay, I'll do it, whatever. And, Spencer's in the other room. He gets a phone call from Vernon, and Vernon, because the league is at Vernon's door for him to take a piss test, and everyone knows that Vernon's been smoking weed or taking cannabis as medicine for his injury. But now the league is going after, Vernon, and they're supposed to give him 24 hours notice, but they don't have to because they're going to lie and say they've been calling him and he hasn't answered his texts or his messages. And so Vernon tells Joe this information. And so then, Joe was like, yo, but I got Vernon and Reggie to invest in the virtual reality game. And so Spencer tries it, and he comes up with an idea where he can use this virtual reality game to convince Wayne to put in money because Wayne needs to see a vision. And so meanwhile, Vernon and Reggie are trying to stall the piss guy. So it was telling the piss guy, hold on, wait 1 minute. So they're running through the house trying to hide all their bongs, their weed, their roaches, their edibles, storing everything everywhere, hiding, putting everything in trash bags, all their plants, and they're just running around like crazy. Spencer was like, don't take a piss until I absolutely tell you. So the piss guy, he comes in and he was like, come on. He has Vernon drinking 6 cups of water, and Vernon's drinking this water, but he's still not peeing. And so then Vernon gets close to the toilet, and Vernon's about to take out his penis. He was like, I know what you're gonna say, big man, small penis. And the piss test guy was like, I seen them all. And so, Reggie and Vernon's trying to stall the piss guy and was like, yo, what makes you get into a business of, going around testing people for piss or whatever? So in the meantime, Spence, he gets a chance to get in contact with Candace because she represents the league. She's like one of the top dogs at the league. And he was like, yo, I need to meet up with you. So she goes to meet up with Spencer. And Spencer was like, yo, so what's going on? Why is the league going to go test Vernon right now? It was like, oh, we know about his cannabis. Even if he's not smoking or whatever, we know he's consuming it for pain or whatever. And I don't have to give him 24 hours notice, because we'll just say that we left messages, and we called over and over to give him the heads up, and he didn't reply. And so basically, Candace trying to tell Spencer, cut this Raider deal off. If you don't cut this Raider deal off, I'm coming after you. I'm coming after your clients, and I will suspend Vernon and Vern and all this other stuff. But she says, well, maybe if you stop with this deal things, I would just give him a suspension, because I can't call off the drug test for maybe 3 days. And he was like, 3 days? He was like, well, it could be 4, it could be 10, or it can be a whole season. So are you going to start with this, trying to bring the Oakland Raiders to Vegas? Because the league is not happy about it. But they're just not happy that it's Spencer doing it, because they don't really like Spencer. Because Spencer, burnt a lot of bridges and a lot of fences and threw mud on top of them, and they're not feeling him. And plus, they don't have nothing to do with the situation. And plus, on top of that, they just gave Spencer and Joe the right to have clients and to open a firm through the league where they can be financial advisors and everything like that. And even with their bad record or bad reputation, it was like, just focus on that. Stop trying to make $1 billion deal. So, Spence, he agrees to it. So then he calls, Reggie, and tell Vern to take the piss test. So he takes the piss test. He pisses all over the floor. And the guy's like, just get in the cup. And so then, and meanwhile, we have Ricky. Ricky's at home by himself, or in his lonesome, because his team's not around. And he's feeling kind of lost, because he's been doing a lot of incorrect things that he don't understand why he's doing it. So he went to watch one of his games. When he watched the game and he scored or whatever, when he was tackled and he went outside the line or whatever, he can see how his body hit the ground and his head hit the ground, bounced like a couple of times. So now Ricky is realizing that he suffered a concussion. That's probably what's going on. Like he got hurt and didn't even know it. And so that brings us back to Spence and, Candace. And Candace was like, I heard about these rumors going around about Ricky. I that might end up on my desk, even though it's something small, because I guess the word got around that Ricky got locked up for breaking and entering to the wrong house, because he thought it was his house. It was his next door neighbor's house. He punched the kid in the face. And then they're probably noticing about different things that he did with his baby's mother. And somebody's probably sending the information to the league, or they're watching, all Spence and Joe's clients, because they're going to come after the attack on Joe and Spence. So, or as Ricky's father involved in telling this information, maybe he's trying to negotiate something on the back burner without his son knowing, or we'll see what happens, or his entourage. But somehow the league knows what's going on with Ricky, or they watched the same tape that Ricky watched and saw that he was hurt. But you would think Spence and Joe would pick up on that, but that didn't happen. So now, Spence agrees with Candace that he's going to kind of like lay low on that deal. But then in the meantime, Joe calls Spence and was like, yo, Spence calls Joe and was like, yo, you know what? Give me a few days. Let's not go through with this meeting with Wayne or whatever. And so Joe was like, hell no, you're not gonna run from this. You're not gonna cancel it. I don't care what you say or what you do. The meeting's on. We ain't gonna stop. I'm dreaming with you. So Spence is like, oh. So they get to the meeting where it's Mr. Anderson, it's Wayne, it's Joe, it's Spencer, and they have the virtual reality game there for Wayne to watch so he can get an idea of what their vision is, because that's what he needs, his insight to see. So Wayne now all of a sudden he wants to give $100 million, and he's gonna give land, and he wants it to be called the Wayne, the Wayne Village, a place where dreams come true. And so then they're talking junk, like Spence and Joe and Anderson talking about like, oh, scumbag, we're gonna change the name to scumbag, we're gonna change the name to this and that. So they're talking mad crap about Wayne while he has on the virtual reality game headset, because they don't like him, and they call him pretentious. They call him all types of names. They call him a douchebag. They call it doucheville. But Wayne now agrees, and he wants to be a part of it. But Spencer's in a dilemma, because now he knows he's putting Ricky personal information on the line. So now I guess Spence has to investigate what's going on with Ricky and see how quietly he can do that without anybody finding out, because Ricky might not get signed again. And then also, you know, Candace and Ellie can come after Vern for testing positive for cannabinoids. So we'll see what happens, and also can get, you know, have Vernon drop from the Cowboy saying like, you know what, he endorsed this product and he's taking the marijuana. So we'll see what happens next episode. I like to say they play Key Sweat. They play Nice and Smooth and Funky. They play so many different songs, like, and then they play like some hits from different genres of music. It's just like this show, whoever produces this show with the music, he is the best with the music. I mean, the music from this show will have you dancing. They need to start like a album for each episode, put that music together and release it, because it be on point. So anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. And if you can hit the like button to let me know if you like this review, if you're going to watch this review, so I can know if I should review this show. Thank you so much. Peace. I'm out.